Remember to smash the likes and subscribe buttons, and please spread the love and share the love.
The Urantia Book. Paper 15. The Seven Super Universes. As far as the Universal Father is concerned, as a father, the universes are virtually non-existent. He deals with personalities. He is the Father of personalities. As far as the Eternal Son and the Infinite Spirit are concerned, as creator partners, the universes are localized and individual under the joint rule of the Creator Sons and the creative spirits. As far as the Paradise Trinity is concerned, outside Havana there are just 7 inhabited universes, the 7 super universes which hold jurisdiction over the circle of the first post-Havana space level. The 7 master spirits radiate their influence out from the central isle, thus constituting the vast creation one gigantic wheel, the hub being the eternal Isle of Paradise, the 7 spokes the radiations of the 7 master spirits, the rim the outer regions of the grand universe. Early in the materialization of the universal creation, the sevenfold scheme of the super-universe organization and government was formulated. The first post-Havana creation was divided into 7 stupendous segments, and the headquarters worlds of these super-universe governments were designed and constructed. The present scheme of administration has existed from near eternity, and the rulers of these 7 super-universes are rightly called Ancients of Days. Of the vast body of knowledge concerning the super-universes, I can hope to tell you little, but there is operative throughout these realms a technique of intelligent control for both physical and spiritual forces, and the universal gravity presences their function in majestic power and perfect harmony. It is important first to gain an adequate idea of the physical constitution and material organization of the super-universe domains, for then you will be the better prepared to grasp the significance of the marvelous organization provided for their spiritual government and for the intellectual advancement of the wool creatures who dwell on the myriads of inhabited planets scattered hither and yon throughout these 7 super-universes. The super-universe space level. Within the limited range of the records, observations, and memories of the generations of 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 of your short years, to all practical intents and purposes, Urantia, and the universe to which it belongs are experiencing the adventure of one long and uncharted plunge into new space, but according to the records of Diversey, in accordance with older observations, in harmony with the more extensive experience and calculations of our order, and as a result of conclusions based on these and other findings, we know that the universes are engaged in an orderly, well understood, and perfectly controlled processional, swinging in majestic grandeur around the first great source and center and his residential universe. We have long since discovered that the 7 super-universes traverse a great ellipse, a gigantic and elongated circle. Your solar system and other worlds of time are not plunging headlong, without chart and compass, into unmapped space. The local universe to which your system belongs is pursuing a definite and well understood counterclockwise course around the vast swing that encircles the central universe. This cosmic path is well charted and is just as thoroughly known to the super-universe star observers as the orbits of the planets constituting your solar system are known to Urantia astronomers. Urantia is situated in a local universe and a super-universe not fully organized, and your local universe is in immediate proximity to numerous partially completed physical creations. You belong to one of the relatively recent universes. But you are not, today, plunging on wildly into uncharted space nor swinging out blindly into unknown regions. You are following the orderly and predetermined path of the super-universe space level. You are now passing through the very same space that your planetary system, or its predecessors, traversed ages ago, and someday in the remote future your system, or its successors, will again traverse the identical space through which you are now so swiftly plunging. In this age, and as direction is regarded on Urantia, super-universe number 1 swings almost due north, approximately opposite, in an easterly direction, to the paradise residence of the great sources and centers and the central universe of Havana. This position, with the corresponding one to the west, represents the nearest physical approach of the spheres of time to the eternal isle. Super-universe number 2 is in the north, preparing for the westward swing, while number 3 now holds the northernmost segment of the great space path, having already turned into the bend leading to the southerly plunge. Number 4 is on the comparatively straightaway southerly flight, the advanced regions now approaching opposition to the great centers. Number 5 has about left its position opposite the center of centers while continuing on the direct southerly course just preceding the eastward swing. Number 6 occupies most of the southern curve, the segment from which your super-universe has nearly passed. Your local universe of Nebadon belongs to Orvanton, the seventh super-universe, which swings on between super-universes 1 and 6, having not long since, as we reckon time, turned the southeastern bend of the super-universe space level. Today, the solar system to which Urantia belongs is a few billion years past the swing around the southern curvature, so that you are just now advancing beyond the southeastern bend and are moving swiftly through the long and comparatively straightaway northern path. For untold ages Orvanton will pursue this almost direct northerly course. Urantia belongs to a system which is well out towards the borderland of your local universe, and your local universe is at present traversing the periphery of Orvanton. Beyond you there are still others, but you are far removed in space from those physical systems which swing around the Great Circle in comparative proximity to the Great Source and Center. Organization of the super-universes. Only the Universal Father knows the location and actual number of inhabited worlds in space. He calls them all by name and number. I can give only the approximate number of inhabited or inhabitable planets, for some local universes have more worlds suitable for intelligent life than others. Nor have all projected local universes been organized. Therefore the estimates which I offer are solely for the purpose of affording some idea of the immensity of the material creation. There are 7 super-universes in the grand universe, and they are constituted approximately as follows. 1. The system. The basic unit of the super-government consists of about 1,000 inhabited or inhabitable worlds. Blazing suns, cold worlds, planets too near the hot suns, and other spheres not suitable for creature habitation are not included in this group. These 1,000 worlds adapted to support life are called a system, but in the younger systems only a comparatively small number of these worlds may be inhabited. Each inhabited planet is presided over by a planetary prince, and each local system has an architectural sphere as its headquarters and is ruled by a system sovereign. 2. The constellation. 100 systems, about 100,000 inhabitable planets, make up a constellation. Each constellation has an architectural headquarters sphere and is presided over by 3 Varandadek suns, the Most Highs. Each constellation also has a faithful of days in observation, an ambassador of the Paradise Trinity. 3. The local universe. 100 constellations, about 10 million inhabitable planets constitute a local universe. Each local universe has a magnificent architectural headquarters world and is ruled by one of the coordinate creator sons of God of the order of Michael. Each universe is blessed by the presence of a union of days, a representative of the Paradise Trinity. 4. The minor sector. 100 local universes, about 1 billion inhabitable planets constitute a minor sector of the super-universe government. It has a wonderful headquarters world, where from its rulers, the regents of days, administer the affairs of the minor sector. There are 3 regents of days, Supreme Trinity personalities, on each minor sector headquarters. 5. The major sector. 100 minor sectors, about 100 billion inhabitable worlds make one major sector. Each major sector is provided with a superb headquarters and is presided over by 3 perfections of days, Supreme Trinity personalities. 6. The super universe. 10 major sectors, about 1 trillion inhabitable planets constitute a super universe. Each super universe is provided with an enormous and glorious headquarters world and is ruled by 3 ancients of days. 7. The grand universe. 7 super universes make up the present organized grand universe, consisting of approximately 7 trillion inhabitable worlds plus the architectural spheres and the 1 billion inhabited spheres of Havana. The super-universes are ruled and administered indirectly and reflectively from paradise by the 7 master spirits. The billion worlds of Havana are directly administered by the Eternals of Days, one such Supreme Trinity personality presiding over each of these perfect spheres. Excluding the Paradise Havana spheres, the plan of universe organization provides for the following units. Super universes. 7. Major sectors. 70. Minor sectors. 7,000. Local universes. 700,000. Constellations. 70 million. Local systems. 7 billion. Inhabitable planets. 7 trillion. Each of the 7 super-universes is constituted, approximately, as follows. 1 system embraces, approximately, 1,000 worlds. 1 constellation, 100 systems. 100,000 worlds. 1 universe, 100 constellations. 10 million worlds. 1 minor sector, 100 universes. 1 billion worlds. Major sector, 100 minor sectors. 100 billion worlds. 1 super universe, 10 major sectors. 1 trillion worlds. All such estimates are approximations at best, for new systems are constantly evolving while other organizations are temporarily passing out of material existence. The super-universe of Orvanton. Practically all of the starry realms visible to the naked eye on Urantia belong to the 7th section of the Grand Universe, the super-universe of Orvanton. The vast Milky Way starry system represents the central nucleus of Orvanton, being largely beyond the borders of your local universe. This great aggregation of suns, dark islands of space, double stars, globular clusters, star clouds, spiral and other nebulae, together with myriads of individual planets, forms a watch-like, elongated circular grouping of about 1/7 of the inhabited evolutionary universes. From the astronomical position of Urantia, as you look through the cross-section of nearby systems to the Great Milky Way, you observe that the spheres of Urantia are traveling in a vast elongated plane, the breadth being far greater than the thickness and the length far greater than the breadth. Observation of the so-called Milky Way discloses the comparative increase in Urantia's stellar density when the heavens are viewed in one direction, while on either side the density diminishes, the number of stars and other spheres decreases away from the chief plane of our material superuniverse. When the angle of observation is propitious, gazing through the main body of this realm of maximum density, you are looking toward the residential universe and the center of all things. Of the 10 major divisions of Urantia, 8 have been roughly identified by Urantian astronomers. The other 2 are difficult of separate recognition because you are obliged to view these phenomena from the inside. If you could look upon the super-universe of Urantia from a position far distant in space, you would immediately recognize the 10 major sectors of the 7th galaxy. The rotational center of your minor sector is situated far away in the enormous and dense star cloud of Sagittarius, around which your local universe and its associated creations all move, and from opposite sides of the vast Sagittarius subgalactic system you may observe 2 great streams of star clouds emerging in stupendous stellar coils. The nucleus of the physical system to which your Sun and its associated planets belong is the center of the one-time Andronover Nebula. This former spiral nebula was slightly distorted by the gravity disruptions associated with the events which were attendant upon the birth of your solar system, and which were occasioned by the near approach of a large neighboring nebula. This near collision changed Andronover into a somewhat globular aggregation but did not wholly destroy the two-way precession of the suns and their associated physical groups. Your solar system now occupies a fairly central position in one of the arms of this distorted spiral, situated about halfway from the center out towards the edge of the star stream. The Sagittarius sector and Diversey, and some of the confusion of Urantian star observers arises out of the illusions and relative distortions produced by the following multiple revolutionary movements. 1. The revolution of Urantia around its Sun. 2. The circuit of your solar system about the nucleus of the former Andronover Nebula. 3. The rotation of the Andronover stellar family and the associated clusters about the composite rotation gravity center of the star cloud of Nebadon. 4. The swing of the local star cloud of Nebadon and its associated creations around the Sagittarius center of their minor sector. 5. The rotation of the 100 minor sectors, including Sagittarius, about their major sector. 6. The whirl of the 10 major sectors, the so-called star drifts, about the Diversey headquarters of Urantia. 7. The movement of Urantia and 6 associated super-universes around Paradise and Havana, the counterclockwise precessional of the super-universe space level. These multiple motions are of several orders. The space paths of your planet and your solar system are genetic, inherent in origin. The absolute counterclockwise motion of Urantia is also genetic, inherent in the architectural plans of the master universe. But the intervening motions are of composite origin, being derived in part from the constitutive segmentation of matter energy into the super-universes, and in part produced by the intelligent and purposeful action of the Paradise Force organizers. The local universes are in closer proximity as they approach Havana, the circuits are greater in number, and there is increased superimposition, layer upon layer. But farther out from the eternal center there are fewer and fewer systems, layers, circuits, and universes. Nebulae, the ancestors of universes. While creation and universe organization remain forever under the control of the infinite creators and their associates, the whole phenomenon proceeds in accordance with an ordained technique and in conformity to the gravity laws of force, energy, and matter. But there is something of mystery associated with the universal force charge of space. We quite understand the organization of the material creations from the ultimatonic stage forward, but we do not fully comprehend the cosmic ancestry of the ultimatons. We are confident that these ancestral forces have a paradise origin because they forever swing through pervaded space in the exact gigantic outlines of paradise. Though non-responsive to paradise gravity, this force charge of space, the ancestor of all materialization, does always respond to the presence of nether paradise, being apparently circuit in and out of the nether paradise center. The paradise force organizers transmute space potency into primordial force and evolve this pre-material potential into the primary and secondary energy manifestations of physical reality. When this energy attains gravity-responding levels, the power directors and their associates of the super-universe regime appear upon the scene and begin their never-ending manipulations designed to establish the manifold power circuits and energy channels of the universes of time and space. Thus does physical matter appear in space, and so is the stage set for the inauguration of universe organization. This segmentation of energy is a phenomenon which has never been solved by the physicists of Nebadon. Their chief difficulty lies in the relative inaccessibility of the paradise force organizers, for the living power directors, though they are competent to deal with space energy, do not have the least conception of the origin of the energies they so skillfully and intelligently manipulate. Paradise force organizers are nebulae originators. They are able to initiate about their space presence the tremendous cyclones of force which, when once started, can never be stopped or limited until the all-pervading forces are mobilized for the eventual appearance of the ultimatonic units of universe matter. Thus are brought into being the spiral and other nebulae, the mother wheels of the direct origin suns and their varied systems. In outer space there may be seen 10 different forms of nebulae, phases of primary universe evolution, and these vast energy wheels had the same origin as did those in the 7 super-universes. Nebulae vary greatly in size and in the resulting number and aggregate mass of their stellar and planetary offspring. A sun-forming nebula just north of the borders of Orvonton, but within the super-universe space level, has already given origin to approximately 40,000 suns, and the mother wheel is still throwing off suns, the majority of which are many times the size of yours. Some of the larger nebulae of outer space are giving origin to as many as 100 million suns. Nebulae are not directly related to any of the administrative units, such as minor sectors or local universes, although some local universes have been organized from the products of a single nebula. Each local universe embraces exactly 1/100,000th part of the total energy charge of a super-universe irrespective of nebular relationship. For energy is not organized by nebulae, it is universally distributed. Not all spiral nebulae are engaged in sun-making. Some have retained control of many of their segregated stellar offspring, and their spiral appearance is occasioned by the fact that their suns pass out of the nebular arm in close formation but return by diverse routes, thus making it easy to observe them at one point but more difficult to see them when widely scattered on their different returning routes farther out and away from the arm of the nebula. There are not many sun-forming nebulae active in Urantia at the present time, though Andromeda, which is outside the inhabited super-universe, is very active. This far distant nebula is visible to the naked eye, and when you view it, pause to consider that the light you behold left those distant suns almost 1 million years ago. The Milky Way galaxy is composed of vast numbers of former spiral and other nebulae, and many still retain their original configuration. But as the result of internal catastrophes and external attraction, many have suffered such distortion and rearrangement as to cause these enormous aggregations to appear as gigantic luminous masses of blazing suns, like the Magellanic Cloud. The globular type of star clusters predominates near the outer margins of Urantia. The vast star clouds of Urantia should be regarded as individual aggregations of matter comparable to the separate nebulae observable in the space regions external to the Milky Way galaxy. Many of the so-called star clouds of space, however, consist of gaseous material only. The energy potential of these stellar gas clouds is unbelievably enormous, and some of it is taken up by nearby suns and redispatched in space as solar emanations. The origin of space bodies. The bulk of the mass contained in the suns and planets of a super-universe originates in the nebular wheels. Very little of super-universe mass is organized by the direct action of the power directors as in the construction of architectural spheres, although a constantly varying quantity of matter originates in open space. As to origin, the majority of the suns, planets, and other spheres can be classified in one of the following 10 groups. 1. Concentric contraction rings. Not all nebulae are spiral. Many an immense nebula, instead of splitting into a double star system or evolving as a spiral, undergoes condensation by multiple ring formation. For long periods such a nebula appears as an enormous central sun surrounded by numerous gigantic clouds of encircling, ring-appearing formations of matter. 2. The world stars embrace those suns which are thrown off the Great Mother wheels of highly heated gases. They are not thrown off as rings but in right and left-handed processions. World stars are also of origin in other than spiral nebulae. 3. Gravity explosion planets. When a sun is born of a spiral or of a barred nebula, not infrequently it is thrown out a considerable distance. Such a sun is highly gaseous, and subsequently, after it has somewhat cooled and condensed, it may chance to swing near some enormous mass of matter, a gigantic sun or a dark island of space. Such an approach may not be near enough to result in collision but still near enough to allow the gravity pull of the greater body to start tidal convulsions in the lesser, thus initiating a series of tidal upheavals which occur simultaneously on opposite sides of the convulsed sun. At their height these explosive eruptions produce a series of varying-sized aggregations of matter which may be projected beyond the gravity reclamation zone of the erupting sun, thus becoming stabilized in orbits of their own around one of the two bodies concerned in this episode. Later on the larger collections of matter unite and gradually draw the smaller bodies to themselves. In this way many of the solid planets of the lesser systems are brought into existence. Your own solar system had just such an origin. 4. Centrifugal planetary daughters. Enormous suns, when in certain stages of development, and if their revolutionary rate greatly accelerates, begin to throw off large quantities of matter which may subsequently be assembled to form small worlds that continue to encircle the parent sun. 5 Gravity deficiency spheres. There is a critical limit to the size of individual stars. When a sun reaches this limit, unless it slows down in revolutionary rate, it is doomed to split, sun fission occurs, and a new double star of this variety is born. Numerous small planets may be subsequently formed as a byproduct of this gigantic disruption. 6 Contractural stars. In the smaller systems, the largest outer planet sometimes draws to itself its neighboring worlds, while those planets near the sun begin their terminal plunge. With your solar system, such an end would mean that the 4 inner planets would be claimed by the sun, while the major planet, Jupiter, would be greatly enlarged by capturing the remaining worlds. Such an end of a solar system would result in the production of 2 adjacent but unequal suns, one type of double star formation. Such catastrophes are infrequent except out on the fringe of the super-universe starry aggregations. 7 Cumulative spheres. From the vast quantity of matter circulating in space, small planets may slowly accumulate. They grow by meteoric accretion and by minor collisions. In certain sectors of space, conditions favor such forms of planetary birth. Many an inhabited world has had such an origin. Some of the dense dark islands are the direct result of the accretions of transmuting energy in space. Another group of these dark islands have come into being by the accumulation of enormous quantities of cold matter, mere fragments, and meteors, circulating through space. Such aggregations of matter have never been hot and, except for density, are in composition very similar to Urantia. 8 Burned out suns. Some of the dark islands of space are burned out isolated suns, all available space energy having been emitted. The organized units of matter approximate full condensation, virtual complete consolidation, and it requires ages upon ages for such enormous masses of highly condensed matter to be recharged in the circuits of space and thus to be prepared for new cycles of universe function following a collision or some equally revivifying cosmic happening. 9 Collisional spheres. In those regions of thicker clustering, collisions are not uncommon. Such an astronomic readjustment is accompanied by tremendous energy changes and matter transmutations. Collisions involving dead suns are peculiarly influential in creating widespread energy fluctuations. Collisional debris often constitutes the material nucleuses for the subsequent formation of planetary bodies adapted to mortal habitation. 10 Architectural worlds. These are the worlds which are built according to plans and specifications for some special purpose, such as Salvington, the headquarters of your local universe, and Uversat, the seat of government of our super-universe. There are numerous other techniques for evolving suns and segregating planets, but the foregoing procedures suggest the methods whereby the vast majority of stellar systems and planetary families are brought into existence. To undertake to describe all the various techniques involved in stellar metamorphosis and planetary evolution would require the narration of almost 100 different modes of sun formation and planetary origin. As your star students scan the heavens, they will observe phenomena indicative of all these modes of stellar evolution, but they will seldom detect evidence of the formation of those small, non-luminous collections of matter which serve as inhabited planets, the most important of the vast material creations. The spheres of space. Irrespective of origin, the various spheres of space are classifiable into the following. 1. The suns, the stars of space. 2. The dark islands of space. 3. Minor space bodies, comets, meteors, and planetesimals. 4. The planets, including the inhabited worlds. 5. Architectural spheres, worlds made to order. With the exception of the architectural spheres, all space bodies have had an evolutionary origin, evolutionary in the sense that they have not been brought into being by fiat of deity, evolutionary in the sense that the creative acts of God have unfolded by a time-space technique through the operation of many of the created and eventuated intelligences of deity. The suns. These are the stars of space in all their various stages of existence. Some are solitary evolving space systems, others are double stars, contracting or disappearing planetary systems. The stars of space exist in no less than 1,000 different states and stages. You are familiar with suns that emit light accompanied by heat, but there are also suns which shine without heat. The trillions upon trillions of years that an ordinary sun will continue to give out heat and light well illustrates the vast store of energy which each unit of matter contains. The actual energy stored in these invisible particles of physical matter is well nigh unimaginable. And this energy becomes almost wholly available as light when subjected to the tremendous heat pressure and the associated energy activities which prevail in the interior of the blazing suns. Still other conditions enable these suns to transform and send forth much of the energy of space which comes their way in the established space circuits. Many phases of physical energy and all forms of matter are attracted to, and subsequently distributed by, the solar dynamos. In this way the suns serve as local accelerators of energy circulation, acting as automatic power control stations. The super-universe of Urantia is illuminated and warmed by more than 10 trillion blazing suns. These suns are the stars of your observable astronomic system. More than 2 trillion are too distant and too small ever to be seen from Urantia. But in the master universe there are as many suns as there are glasses of water in the oceans of your world. The dark islands of space. These are the dead suns and other large aggregations of matter devoid of light and heat. The dark islands are sometimes enormous in mass and exert a powerful influence in universe equilibrium and energy manipulation. The density of some of these large masses is well nigh unbelievable. And this great concentration of mass enables these dark islands to function as powerful balance wheels, holding large neighboring systems in effective leash. They hold the gravity balance of power in many constellations. Many physical systems which would otherwise speedily dive to destruction in nearby suns are held securely in the gravity grasp of these guardian dark islands. It is because of this function that we can locate them accurately. We have measured the gravity pull of the luminous bodies, and we can therefore calculate the exact size and location of the dark islands of space which so effectively function to hold a given system steady in its course. Minor space bodies. The meteors and other small particles of matter circulating and evolving in space constitute an enormous aggregate of energy and material substance. Many comets are unstablished wild offspring of the solar mother wheels, which are being gradually brought under control of the central governing sun. Comets also have numerous other origins. A comet's tail points away from the attracting body or sun because of the electrical reaction of its highly expanded gases and because of the actual pressure of light and other energies emanating from the sun. This phenomenon constitutes one of the positive proofs of the reality of light and its associated energies. It demonstrates that light has weight. Light is a real substance, not simply waves of hypothetical ether. The planets. These are the larger aggregations of matter which follow an orbit around a sun or some other space body. They range in size from planetesimals to enormous gaseous, liquid, or solid spheres. The cold worlds, which have been built up by the assemblage of floating space material, when they happen to be in proper relation to a nearby sun, are the more ideal planets to harbor intelligent inhabitants. The dead suns are not, as a rule, suited to life. They are usually too far away from a living, blazing sun, and further, they are altogether too massive. Gravity is tremendous at the surface. In your super-universe, not one cool planet in 40 is habitable by beings of your order. And, of course, the superheated suns and the frigid outlying worlds are unfit to harbor higher life. In your solar system, only 3 planets are at present suited to harbor life. Urantia, in size, density, and location, is in many respects ideal for human habitation. The laws of physical energy behavior are basically universal, but local influences have much to do with the physical conditions which prevail on individual planets and in local systems. An almost endless variety of creature life and other living manifestations characterizes the countless worlds of space. There are, however, certain points of similarity in a group of worlds associated in a given system, while there also is a universe pattern of intelligent life. There are physical relationships among those planetary systems which belong to the same physical circuit, and which closely follow each other in the endless swing around the circle of universes. The architectural spheres. While each super-universe government presides near the center of the evolutionary universes of its space segment, it occupies a world made to order and is peopled by accredited personalities. These headquarters worlds are architectural spheres, space bodies specifically constructed for their special purpose. While sharing the light of nearby suns, these spheres are independently lighted and heated. Each has a sun which gives forth light without heat, like the satellites of paradise, while each is supplied with heat by the circulation of certain energy currents near the surface of the sphere. These headquarters worlds belong to one of the greater systems situated near the astronomical center of their respective super-universes. Time is standardized on the headquarters of the super-universes. The standard day of the super-universe of Orvanton is equal to almost 30 days of Urantia time, and the Orvanton year equals 100 standard days. This Diversey year is standard in the 7th super-universe, and it is 22 minutes short of 3,000 days of Urantia time, about 8 1/5 of your years. The headquarters worlds of the 7 super-universes partake of the nature and grandeur of paradise, their central pattern of perfection. In reality, all headquarters worlds are paradisiacal. They are indeed heavenly abodes, and they increase in material size, Urantia beauty, and spirit glory from Jerusalem to the Central Isle. And all the satellites of these headquarters worlds are also architectural spheres. The various headquarters worlds are provided with every phase of material and spiritual creation. All kinds of material, morantial, and spiritual beings are at home on these rendezvous worlds of the universes. As mortal creatures ascend the universe, passing from the material to the spiritual realms, they never lose their appreciation for, and enjoyment of, their former levels of existence. Jerusalem, the headquarters of your local system of Satania, has its 7 worlds of transition culture, each of which is encircled by 7 satellites, among which are the 7 mansion worlds of Urantia detention, man's first post-mortal residence. As the term heaven has been used on Urantia, it has sometimes meant these 7 mansion worlds, the first mansion world being denominated the first heaven, and so on to the 7th. Edentia, the headquarters of your constellation of Norlashadek, has its 70 satellites of socializing culture and training, on which ascenders sojourn upon the completion of the Jerusalem regime of personality mobilization, unification, and realization. Salvington, the capital of Nebadon, your local universe, is surrounded by 10 university clusters of 49 spheres each. Huron is man spiritualized following his constellation socialization. Uminor III, the headquarters of your minor sector, Ensa, is surrounded by the 7 spheres of the higher physical studies of the ascendant life. Umajor V, the headquarters of your major sector, Splandon, is surrounded by the 70 spheres of the advancing intellectual training of the super-universe. Uversa, the headquarters of Orvanton, your super-universe, is immediately surrounded by the 7 higher universities of advanced spiritual training for ascending will creatures. Each of these 7 clusters of wonder spheres consists of 70 specialized worlds containing thousands upon thousands of replete institutions and organizations devoted to universe training and spirit culture, wherein the pilgrims of time are re-educated and re-examined. Prepared time are always received on these associated worlds, but the departing graduates are always dispatched for Havana direct from the shores of Uversa. Uversa is the spiritual and administrative headquarters for approximately 1 trillion inhabited or inhabitable worlds. The glory, grandeur, and perfection of the Orvanton capital surpass any of the wonders of the time-space creations. If all the projected local universes and their component parts were established, there would be slightly less than 500 billion architectural worlds in the 7 super-universes. Energy control and regulation. The headquarters spheres of the super-universes are so constructed that they are able to function as efficient power energy regulators for their various sectors, serving as focal points for the direct ionization of energy to their component local universes. They exert a powerful influence over the balance and control of the physical energies circulating through organized space. Further regulative functions are performed by the super-universe power centers and physical controllers, living and semi-living intelligent entities constituted for this express purpose. These power centers and controllers are difficult of understanding. The lower orders are not volitional. They do not possess will, they do not choose, their functions are very intelligent but apparently automatic and inherent in their highly specialized organization. The power centers and physical controllers of the super-universes assume direction and partial control of the 30 energy systems which comprise the gravita domain. The physical energy circuits administered by the power centers of Uversa require a little over 968 million years to complete the encirclement of the super-universe. Evolving energy has substance, it has weight, although weight is always relative, depending on revolutionary velocity, mass, and anti-gravity. Mass in matter tends to retard velocity in energy, and the anywhere present velocity of energy represents the initial endowment of velocity, minus retardation by mass encountered in transit, plus the regulatory function of the living energy controllers of the super-universe and the physical influence of nearby highly heated or heavily charged bodies. The universal plan for the maintenance of equilibrium between matter and energy necessitates the everlasting making and unmaking of the lesser material units. The universe power directors have the ability to condense and detain, or to expand and liberate, varying quantities of energy. Given a sufficient duration of retarding influence, gravity would eventually convert all energy into matter were it not for two factors. First, because of the anti-gravity influences of the energy controllers, and second, because organized matter tends to disintegrate under certain conditions found in very hot stars, and under certain peculiar conditions in space near highly energized cold bodies of condensed matter. When mass becomes over-aggregated and threatens to unbalance energy, to deplete the physical power circuits, the physical controllers intervene unless gravity's own further tendency to over-materialize energy is defeated by the occurrence of a collision among the dead giants of space, thus in an instant completely dissipating the cumulative collections of gravity. In these collisional episodes, enormous masses of matter are suddenly converted into the rarest form of energy, and the struggle for universal equilibrium is begun anew. Eventually the larger physical systems become stabilized, become physically settled, and are swung into the balanced and established circuits of the super-universes. Subsequent to this event, no more collisions or other devastating catastrophes will occur in such established systems. During the times of plus energy there are power disturbances and heat fluctuations, accompanied by electrical manifestations. During times of minus energy there are increased tendencies for matter to aggregate, condense, and to get out of control in the more delicately balanced circuits, with resultant tidal or collisional adjustments which quickly restore the balance between circulating energy and more literally stabilized matter. To forecast and otherwise to understand such likely behavior of the blazing suns and the dark islands of space is one of the tasks of the celestial star observers. We are able to recognize most of the laws governing universe equilibrium and to predict much pertaining to universe stability. Practically, our forecasts are reliable, but we are always confronted by certain forces which are not wholly amenable to the laws of energy control and matter behavior known to us. The predictability of all physical phenomena becomes increasingly difficult as we proceed outward in the universes from paradise. As we pass beyond the borders of the personal administration of the paradise rulers, we are confronted with increasing inability to reckon in accordance with the standards established and the experience acquired in connection with observations having exclusively to do with the physical phenomena of the nearby astronomic systems. Even in the realms of the seven super-universes we are living in the midst of force actions and energy reactions which pervade all our domains and extend in unified equilibrium on through all regions of outer space. The farther out we go, the more certainly we encounter those variational and unpredictable phenomena which are so unerringly characteristic of the unfathomable presence performances of the absolutes and the experiential deities. And these phenomena must be indicative of some universal over-control of all things. The super-universe of Orvonton is apparently now running down, the outer universes seem to be winding up for unparalleled future activities, the central Havana universe is eternally stabilized. Gravity and absence of heat cold organize and hold matter together, heat and anti-gravity disrupt matter and dissipate energy. The living power directors and force organizers are the secret of the special control and intelligent direction of the endless metamorphoses of universe making, unmaking, and remaking. Nebulae may disperse, suns burn out, systems vanish, and planets perish, but the universes do not run down. Circuits of the super-universes. The universal circuits of paradise do actually pervade the realms of the 7 super-universes. These presence circuits are, the personality gravity of the Universal Father, the spiritual gravity of the Eternal Son, the mind gravity of the Conj ointment actor, and the material gravity of the Eternal Isle. In addition to the universal paradise circuits and in addition to the presence performances of the absolutes and the experiential deities, there function within the super-universe space level only 2 energy circuit divisions or power segregations, the super-universe circuits and the local universe circuits. The super-universe circuits. 1. The unifying intelligence circuit of one of the 7 master spirits of paradise. Such a cosmic mind circuit is limited to a single super-universe. 2. The reflective service circuit of the 7 reflective spirits in each super-universe. 3. The secret circuits of the mystery monitors, in some manner interassociated and routed by divinington to the Universal Father on Paradise. 4. The circuit of the intercommunion of the Eternal Son with his Paradise Sons. 5. The flash presence of the Infinite Spirit. 6. The broadcasts of Paradise, the space reports of Havana. 7. The energy circuits of the power centers and the physical controllers. The local universe circuits. 1. The bestowal spirit of the Paradise Sons, the comforter of the bestowal worlds. The spirit of truth, the spirit of Michael on Urantia. 2. The circuit of the divine ministers, the local universe mother spirits, the Holy Spirit of your world. 3. The intelligence ministry circuit of a local universe, including the diversely functioning presence of the adjutant mind spirits. When there develops such a spiritual harmony in a local universe that its individual and combined circuits become indistinguishable from those of the super-universe, when such identity of function and oneness of ministry actually prevail, then does the local universe immediately swing into the settled circuits of light and life, becoming at once eligible for admission into the spiritual confederation of the perfected union of the supercreation. The requisites for admission to the councils of the Ancients of Days. Membership in the super-universe confederation, are 1. Physical stability. The stars and planets of a local universe must be in equilibrium, the periods of immediate stellar metamorphosis must be over. The universe must be proceeding on a clear track, its orbit must be safely and finally settled. 2. Spiritual loyalty. There must exist a state of universal recognition of, and loyalty to, the sovereign Son of God who presides over the affairs of such a local universe. There must have come into being a state of harmonious cooperation between the individual planets, systems, and constellations of the entire local universe. Your local universe is not even reckoned as belonging to the settled physical order of the super-universe, much less as holding membership in the recognized spiritual family of the super-government. Although Nebadon does not yet have representation on Uversa, we of the super-universe government are dispatched to its worlds on special missions from time to time, even as I have come to Urantia directly from Uversa. We lend every possible assistance to your directors and rulers in the solution of their difficult problems. We are desirous of seeing your universe qualified for full admission into the associated creations of the super-universe family. Rulers of the super-universes. The headquarters of the super-universes are the seats of the high spiritual government of the time-space domains. The executive branch of the super-government, taking origin in the councils of the Trinity, is immediately directed by one of the seven master spirits of supreme supervision, beings who sit upon seats of paradise authority and administer the super-universes through the seven supreme executives stationed on the seven special worlds of the infinite spirit, the outermost satellites of paradise. The super-universe headquarters are the abiding places of the reflective spirits and the reflective image aids. From this midway position these marvelous beings conduct their tremendous reflectivity operations, thus ministering to the central universe above and to the local universes below. Each super-universe is presided over by three Ancients of Days, the joint chief executives of the super-government. In its executive branch the personnel of the super-universe government consists of 7 different groups. 1 Ancients of Days, 2 Perfecters of Wisdom, 3 Divine Counselors, 4 Universal Censors, 5 Mighty Messengers, 6 Those high in authority, 7 Those without name and number. The 3 Ancients of Days are immediately assisted by a corps of 1 billion Perfecters of Wisdom, with whom are associated 3 billion divine counselors. 1 billion universal censors are attached to each super-universe administration. These 3 groups are coordinate Trinity personalities, taking origin directly and divinely in the Paradise Trinity. The remaining 3 orders, mighty messengers, those high in authority, and those without name and number, are glorified ascendant mortals. The first of these orders came up through the ascendant regime and passed through Havana in the days of Grand Fanda. Having attained paradise, they were mustered into the core of the finality, embraced by the Paradise Trinity, and subsequently assigned to the supernal service of the Ancients of Days. As a class, these 3 orders are known as Trinitized Sons of Attainment, being of dual origin but now of Trinity service. Thus was the executive branch of the super-universe government enlarged to include the glorified and perfected children of the evolutionary worlds. The Coordinate Council of the super-universe is composed of the 7 executive groups previously named and the following sector rulers and other regional overseers. 1 Perfections of Days, the rulers of the super-universe major sectors. 2 Recents of Days, the directors of the super-universe minor sectors. 3 Unions of Days, the paradise advisors to the rulers of the local universes. 4 Faithfuls of Days, the paradise counselors to the most high rulers of the constellation governments. 5 Trinity teacher sons who may chance to be on duty at super-universe headquarters. 6 Eternals of Days who may happen to be present at super-universe headquarters. 7 The 7 reflective image aids, the spokesman of the 7 reflective spirits and through them representatives of the 7 master spirits of paradise. The reflective image aids also function as the representatives of numerous groups of beings who are influential in the super-universe governments, but who are not, at present, for various reasons, fully active in their individual capacities. Embraced within this group are the evolving super-universe personality manifestation of the Supreme Being, the unqualified supervisors of the Supreme, the qualified vicegerents of the Ultimate, the unnamed liaison reflectivators of Majestin, and the super-personal spirit representatives of the Eternal Sun. At almost all times it is possible to find representatives of all groups of created beings on the headquarters worlds of the super-universes. The routine ministering work of the super-universes is performed by the mighty Second Apham and by other members of the vast family of the Infinite Spirit. In the work of these marvelous centers of super-universe administration, control, ministry, and executive judgment, the intelligences of every sphere of universal life are mingled in effective service, wise administration, loving ministry, and just judgment. The super-universes do not maintain any sort of ambassadorial representation, they are completely isolated from each other. They know of mutual affairs only through the Paradise Clearinghouse maintained by the 7 Master Spirits. Their rulers work in the councils of divine wisdom for the welfare of their own super-universes regardless of what may be transpiring in other sections of the universal creation. This isolation of the super-universes will persist until such time as their coordination is achieved by the more complete factualization of the personality sovereignty of the evolving experiential Supreme Being. The Deliberative Assembly. It is on such worlds as Urantia that the beings representative of the autocracy of perfection and the democracy of evolution meet face to face. The executive branch of the super-government originates in the realms of perfection, the legislative branch springs from the flowering of the evolutionary universes. The deliberative assembly of the super-universe is confined to the headquarters world. This legislative or advisory council consists of 7 houses, to each of which every local universe admitted to the super-universe councils elects a native representative. These representatives are chosen by the high councils of such local universes from among the ascending pilgrim graduates of Urantia who are tarrying on Urantia, accredited for transport to Havana. The average term of service is about 100 years of super-universe standard time. Never have I known of a disagreement between the Urantia executives and the Urantia Assembly. Never yet, in the history of our super-universe, has the deliberative body ever passed a recommendation that the executive division of the super-government has even hesitated to carry out. There always has prevailed the most perfect harmony and working agreement, all of which testifies to the fact that evolutionary beings can really attain the heights of perfected wisdom which qualifies them to consort with the personalities of perfect origin and divine nature. The presence of the deliberative assemblies on the super-universe headquarters reveals the wisdom, and foreshadows the ultimate triumph, of the whole vast evolutionary concept of the Universal Father and His Eternal Son. The Supreme Tribunals. When we speak of executive and deliberative branches of the Urantia government, you may, from the analogy of certain forms of Urantian civil government, reason that we must have a third or judicial branch, and we do, but it does not have a separate personnel. Our courts are constituted as follows: there presides, in accordance with the nature and gravity of the case, an Ancient of Days, a Perfecter of Wisdom, or a Divine Counselor. The evidence for or against an individual, a planet, system, constellation, or universe is presented and interpreted by the censors. The defense of the children of time and the evolutionary planets is offered by the mighty messengers, the official observers of the super-universe government to the local universes and systems. The attitude of the higher government is portrayed by those high in authority. And ordinarily the verdict is formulated by a varying-sized commission consisting equally of those without name and number and a group of understanding personalities chosen from the deliberative assembly. The courts of the Ancients of Days are the high review tribunals for the spiritual adjudication of all component universes. The sovereign sons of the local universes are supreme in their own domains. They are subject to the super-government only insofar as they voluntarily submit matters for counsel or adjudication by the Ancients of Days except in matters involving the extinction of will creatures. Mandates of judgment originate in the local universes, but sentences involving the extinction of will creatures are always formulated on, and executed from, the headquarters of the super-universe. The sons of the local universes can decree the survival of mortal man, but only the Ancients of Days may sit in executive judgment on the issues of eternal life and death. In all matters not requiring trial, the submission of evidence, the Ancients of Days or their associates render decisions, and these rulings are always unanimous. We are here dealing with the councils of perfection. There are no disagreements nor minority opinions in the decrees of these supreme and superlative tribunals. With certain few exceptions, the super-governments exercise jurisdiction over all things and all beings in their respective domains. There is no appeal from the rulings and decisions of the super-universe authorities, since they represent the concurred opinions of the Ancients of Days and that Master Spirit who, from paradise, presides over the destiny of the super-universe concerned. The sector governments. A major sector comprises about 1/10 of a super-universe and consists of 100 minor sectors, 10,000 local universes, about 100 billion inhabitable worlds. These major sectors are administered by 3 perfections of days, Supreme Trinity personalities. The courts of the perfections of days are constituted much as are those of the Ancients of Days, except that they do not sit in spiritual judgment upon the realms. The work of these major sector governments has chiefly to do with the intellectual status of a far-flung creation. The major sectors detain, adjudicate, dispense, and tabulate, for reporting to the courts of the Ancients of Days, all matters of super-universe importance of a routine and administrative nature which are not immediately concerned with the spiritual administration of the realms or with the outworking of the mortal ascension plans of the paradise rulers. The personnel of a major sector government is no different from that of the super-universe. As the magnificent satellites of Urantia are concerned with your final spiritual preparation for Havana, so are the 70 satellites of Umajor V devoted to your super-universe intellectual training and development. From all Orvantan, here are gathered together the wise beings who labor untiringly to prepare the mortals of time for their further progress towards the career of eternity. Most of this training of ascending mortals is conducted on the 70 study worlds. The minor sector governments are presided over by 3 Regents of Days. Their administration is concerned mainly with the physical control, unification, stabilization, and routine coordination of the administration of the component local universes. Each minor sector embraces as many as 100 local universes, 10,000 constellations, 1 million systems, or about 1 billion inhabitable worlds. Minor sector headquarters worlds are the grand rendezvous of the master physical controllers. These headquarters worlds are surrounded by the 7 instruction spheres which constitute the entrance schools of the super-universe and are the centers of training for physical and administrative knowledge concerning the universe of universes. The administrators of the minor sector governments are under the immediate jurisdiction of the major sector rulers. The Regents of Days receive all reports of observations and coordinate all recommendations which come up to a super-universe from the unions of days who are stationed as Trinity observers and advisors on the headquarters spheres of the local universes, and from the faithfuls of days, who are similarly attached to the councils of the Most Highs at the headquarters of the constellations. All such reports are transmitted to the perfections of days on the major sectors, subsequently to be passed on to the courts of the Ancients of Days. Thus the Trinity regime extends from the constellations of the local universes up to the headquarters of the super-universe. The local system headquarters do not have Trinity representatives. Purposes of the 7 super-universes. There are 7 major purposes which are being unfolded in the evolution of the 7 super-universes. Each major purpose in super-universe evolution will find fullest expression in only one of the 7 super-universes, and therefore does each super-universe have a special function and a unique nature. Urantia, the 7th super-universe, the one to which your local universe belongs, is known chiefly because of its tremendous and lavish bestowal of merciful ministry to the mortals of the realms. It is renowned for the manner in which justice prevails as tempered by mercy and power rules as conditioned by patience, while the sacrifices of time are freely made to secure the stabilization of eternity. Urantia is a universe demonstration of love and mercy. It is, however, very difficult to describe our conception of the true nature of the evolutionary purpose which is unfolding in Urantia, but it may be suggested by saying that in the supercreation we feel that the 6 unique purposes of cosmic evolution as manifested in the 6 associated supercreations are here being interassociated into a meaning of the whole, and it is for this reason that we have sometimes conjectured that the evolved and finished personalization of God the Supreme will in the remote future and from Universa rule the perfected 7 super-universes in all the experiential majesty of his then attained almighty sovereign power. As Urantia is unique in nature and individual in destiny, so also is each of its 6 associated super-universes. A great deal that is going on in Urantia is not, however, revealed to you, and of these unrevealed features of Urantia life, many are to find most complete expression in some other super-universe. The 7 purposes of super-universe evolution are operative throughout all 7 super-universes, but each supercreation will give fullest expression to only one of these purposes. 2. Understand more about these super-universe purposes, much that you do not understand would have to be revealed, and even then you would comprehend but little. This entire narrative presents only a fleeting glimpse of the immense creation of which your world and local system are a part. Your world is called Urantia, and it is number 606 in the planetary group, or system, of Satania. This system has at present 619 inhabited worlds, and more than 200 additional planets are evolving favorably toward becoming inhabited worlds at some future time. Satania has a headquarters world called Jerusalem, and it is system number 24 in the constellation of Norlashadek. Your constellation, Norlashadek, consists of 100 local systems and has a headquarters world called Urantia. Norlashadek is number 70 in the universe of Nebadon. The local universe of Nebadon consists of 100 constellations and has a capital known as Salvington. The universe of Nebadon is number 84 in the minor sector of Ensa. The minor sector of Ensa consists of 100 local universes and has a capital called Uminur III. This minor sector is number 3 in the major sector of Splandon. Splandon consists of 100 minor sectors and has a headquarters world called Umajor V. It is the 5th major sector of the super-universe of Urantia, the 7th segment of the grand universe. Thus you can locate your planet in the scheme of the organization and administration of the universe of universes. The grand universe number of your world, Urantia, is 5,342,482,337,666. That is the registry number on Urantia and on Paradise, your number in the catalog of the inhabited worlds. I know the physical sphere registry number, but it is of such an extraordinary size that it is of little practical significance to the mortal mind. Your planet is a member of an enormous cosmos, you belong to a well-nigh infinite family of worlds, but your sphere is just as precisely administered and just as lovingly fostered as if it were the only inhabited world in all existence. Presented by a universal censor hailing from Urantia.
Remember to smash the likes and subscribe buttons, and please spread the love and share the love. Remember to smash the likes and subscribe buttons, and please spread the love and share the love.
The Urantia Book. Paper 16. The Seven Master Spirits. The seven Master Spirits of Paradise are the primary personalities of the Infinite Spirit. In this sevenfold creative act of self-duplication, the Infinite Spirit exhausted the associative possibilities mathematically inherent in the factual existence of the three persons of deity. Had it been possible to produce a larger number of Master Spirits, they would have been created, but there are just 7 associative possibilities, and only 7, inherent in 3 deities. And this explains why the universe is operated in 7 grand divisions, and why the number 7 is basically fundamental in its organization and administration. The 7 Master Spirits thus have their origin in, and derive their individual characteristics from, the following 7 likenesses. 1. The Universal Father. 2. The Eternal Son. 3. The Infinite Spirit. 4. The Father and the Son. 5. The Father and the Spirit. 6. The Son and the Spirit. 7. The Father, Son, and Spirit. We know very little about the action of the Father and the Son in the creation of the Master Spirits. Apparently they were brought into existence by the personal acts of the Infinite Spirit, but we have been definitely instructed that both the Father and the Son participated in their origin. In spirit character and nature these 7 spirits of paradise are as one, but in all other aspects of identity they are very unlike, and the results of their functioning in the super-universes are such that the individual differences of each are unmistakably discernible. All the after-plans of the 7 segments of the grand universe and even the correlative segments of outer space have been conditioned by the other than spiritual diversity of these 7 master spirits of supreme and ultimate supervision. The master spirits have many functions, but at the present time their particular domain is the central supervision of the 7 super-universes. Each master spirit maintains an enormous force focal headquarters, which slowly circulates around the periphery of paradise, always maintaining a position opposite the super-universe of immediate supervision and at the paradise focal point of its specialized power control and segmental energy distribution. The radial boundary lines of any one of the super-universes do actually converge at the paradise headquarters of the supervising master spirit. Relation to triune deity. The conjoint creator, the infinite spirit, is necessary to the completion of the triune personalization of undivided deity. This threefold deity personalization is inherently sevenfold in possibility of individual and associative expression, hence the subsequent plan to create universes inhabited by intelligent and potentially spiritual beings, duly expressive of the Father, Son, and Spirit, made the personalization of the 7 master spirits inescapable. We have come to speak of the threefold personalization of deity as the absolute inevitability, while we have come to look upon the appearance of the seven master spirits as the sub-absolute inevitability. While the seven master spirits are hardly expressive of threefold deity, they are the eternal portrayal of sevenfold deity, the active and associative functions of the three ever-existent persons of deity. By and in and through these seven spirits, the Universal Father, the Eternal Son, or the Infinite Spirit, or any dual association, is able to function as such. When the Father, the Son, and the Spirit act together, they can and do function through Master Spirit number 7, but not as the Trinity. The Master Spirits singly and collectively represent any and all possible deity functions, single and several, but not collective, not the Trinity. Master Spirit number 7 is personally non-functional with regard to the Paradise Trinity, and that is just why he can function personally for the Supreme Being. But when the seven Master Spirits vacate their individual seats of personal power and super-universe authority and assemble about the conjoint actor in the triune presence of Paradise Deity, then and there are they collectively representative of the functional power, wisdom, and authority of undivided deity the Trinity to and in the evolving universes. Such a paradise union of the primal sevenfold expression of deity does actually embrace, literally encompass, all of every attribute and attitude of the three eternal deities in supremacy and in ultimacy. To all practical intents and purposes the seven master spirits do, then and there, encompass the functional domain of the supreme ultimate to and in the master universe. As far as we can discern, these seven spirits are associated with the divine activities of the three eternal persons of deity. We detect no evidence of direct association with the functioning presences of the three eternal phases of the Absolute. When associated, the Master Spirits represent the Paradise deities in what may be roughly conceived as the finite domain of action. It might embrace much that is ultimate but not absolute. Relation to the Infinite Spirit. Just as the eternal and original Son is revealed through the persons of the constantly increasing number of divine sons, so is the infinite and divine Spirit revealed through the channels of the seven Master Spirits and their associated spirit groups. At the center of centers the Infinite Spirit is approachable, but not all who attain paradise are immediately able to discern his personality and differentiated presence, but all who attain the central universe can and do immediately commune with one of the seven Master Spirits, the one presiding over the super-universe from which the newly arrived space pilgrim hails. To the universe of universes the Paradise Father speaks only through his Son, while he and the Son conjointly act only through the Infinite Spirit. Outside of Paradise and Havana the Infinite Spirit speaks only by the voices of the seven Master Spirits. The Infinite Spirit exerts an influence of personal presence within the confines of the Paradise Havana system, elsewhere his personal spirit presence is exerted by and through one of the seven Master Spirits. Therefore is the super-universe spirit presence of the third source and center on any world or in any individual conditioned by the unique nature of the supervisory Master Spirit of that segment of creation. Conversely, the combined lines of spirit force and intelligence pass inward to the third person of deity by way of the seven Master Spirits. The seven Master Spirits are collectively endowed with the supreme ultimate attributes of the third source and center. While each one individually partakes of this endowment, only collectively do they disclose the attributes of omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence. No one of them can so function. Universally, as individuals, and in the exercise of these powers of supremacy and ultimacy each is personally limited to the super-universe of immediate supervision. All of everything which has been told you concerning the divinity and personality of the conjoint actor applies equally and fully to the seven master spirits, who so effectively distribute the infinite spirit to the seven segments of the grand universe in accordance with their divine endowment and in the manner of their differing and individually unique natures. It would therefore be proper to apply to the collective group of seven any or all of the names of the infinite spirit. Collectively they are one with the conjoint creator on all sub-absolute levels. Identity and diversity of the master spirits. The seven master spirits are indescribable beings, but they are distinctly and definitely personal. They have names, but we elect to introduce them by number. As primary personalizations of the infinite spirit, they are akin, but as primary expressions of the seven possible associations of triune deity, they are essentially diverse in nature, and this diversity of nature determines their differential of super-universe conduct. These seven master spirits may be described as follows. Master Spirit number 1. In a special manner this spirit is the direct representation of the Paradise Father. He is a peculiar and efficient manifestation of the power, love, and wisdom of the Universal Father. He is the close associate and supernal advisor of the Chief of Mystery Monitors, that being who presides over the College of Personalized Adjusters on Divinington. In all associations of the seven master spirits, it is always Master Spirit number 1 who speaks for the Universal Father. This spirit presides over the first super-universe and, while unfailingly exhibiting the divine nature of a primary personalization of the infinite spirit, seems more especially to resemble the Universal Father in character. He is always in personal liaison with the seven reflective spirits at the headquarters of the first super-universe. Master Spirit number 2. This spirit adequately portrays the matchless nature and charming character of the Eternal Son, the firstborn of all creation. He is always in close association with all orders of the sons of God whenever they may happen to be in the residential universe as individuals or in joyous conclave. In all the assemblies of the seven master spirits he always speaks for, and in behalf of, the Eternal Son. This spirit directs the destinies of super-universe number 2 and rules this vast domain much as would the Eternal Son. He is always in liaison with the seven reflective spirits situated at the capital of the second super-universe. Master Spirit number 3. This spirit personality especially resembles the infinite spirit, and he directs the movements and work of many of the high personalities of the infinite spirit. He presides over their assemblies and is closely associated with all personalities who take exclusive origin in the third source and center. When the seven master spirits are in council, it is Master Spirit number 3 who always speaks for the infinite spirit. This spirit is in charge of super-universe number 3, and he administers the affairs of this segment much as would the infinite spirit. He is always in liaison with the reflective spirits at the headquarters of the third super-universe. Master Spirit number 4. Partaking of the combined natures of the Father and the Son, this Master Spirit is the determining influence regarding Father-Son policies and procedures in the councils of the seven Master Spirits. This spirit is the chief director and advisor of those ascendant beings who have attained the infinite spirit and thus have become candidates for seeing the Son and the Father. He fosters that enormous group of personalities taking origin in the Father and the Son. When it becomes necessary to represent the Father and the Son in the association of the 7 Master Spirits, it is always Master Spirit number 4 who speaks. This spirit fosters the 4th segment of the grand universe in accordance with his peculiar association of the attributes of the Universal Father and the Eternal Son. He is always in personal liaison with the reflective spirits of the headquarters of the 4th super-universe. Master Spirit number 5. This divine personality who exquisitely blends the character of the Universal Father and the Infinite Spirit is the advisor of that enormous group of beings known as the power directors, power centers, and physical controllers. This spirit also fosters all personalities taking origin in the Father and the conjoint actor. In the councils of the 7 Master Spirits, when the Father Spirit attitude is in question, it is always Master Spirit number 5 who speaks. This spirit directs the welfare of the 5th super-universe in such a way as to suggest the combined action of the Universal Father and the Infinite Spirit. He is always in liaison with the reflective spirits at the headquarters of the 5th super-universe. Master Spirit number 6. This divine being seems to portray the combined character of the Eternal Son and the Infinite Spirit. Whenever the creatures jointly created by the Son and the Spirit foregather in the central universe, it is this Master Spirit who is their advisor, and whenever, in the councils of the 7 Master Spirits, it becomes necessary to speak conjointly for the Eternal Son and the Infinite Spirit, it is Master Spirit number 6 who responds. This spirit directs the affairs of the 6th super-universe much as would the Eternal Son and the Infinite Spirit. He is always in liaison with the reflective spirits at the headquarters of the 6th super-universe. Master Spirit number 7. The presiding spirit of the 7th super-universe is a uniquely equal portrayal of the Universal Father, the Eternal Son, and the Infinite Spirit. The 7th Spirit, the fostering advisor of all triune origin beings, is also the advisor and director of all the ascending pilgrims of Havana, those lowly beings who have attained the courts of glory through the combined ministry of the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. The 7th Master Spirit is not organically representative of the Paradise Trinity. But it is a known fact that his personal and spiritual nature is the conjoint actor's portraiture in equal proportions of the 3 infinite persons whose deity union is the Paradise Trinity, and whose function as such is the source of the personal and spiritual nature of God the Supreme. Hence the 7th Master Spirit discloses a personal and organic relationship to the spirit person of the evolving Supreme. Therefore in the Master Spirit Councils on high, when it becomes necessary to cast the ballot for the combined personal attitude of the Father, Son, and Spirit or to depict the spiritual attitude of the Supreme Being, it is Master Spirit number 7 who functions. He thus inherently becomes the presiding head of the Paradise Council of the 7 Master Spirits. No one of the 7 spirits is organically representative of the Paradise Trinity, but when they unite as 7-fold deity, this union in a deity sense, not in a personal sense, equivalates to a functional level associable with Trinity functions. In this sense the 7-fold spirit is functionally associable with the Paradise Trinity. It is also in this sense that Master Spirit number 7 sometimes speaks in confirmation of Trinity attitudes or, rather, acts as spokesman for the attitude of the 7-fold spirit union regarding the attitude of the 3-fold deity union, the attitude of the Paradise Trinity. The multiple functions of the seventh master spirit thus range from a combined portraiture of the personal natures of the Father, Son, and Spirit, through a representation of the personal attitude of God the Supreme, to a disclosure of the deity attitude of the Paradise Trinity. And in certain respects this presiding spirit is similarly expressive of the attitudes of the ultimate and of the Supreme Ultimate. It is Master Spirit number 7 who, in his multiple capacities, personally sponsors the progress of the ascension candidates from the worlds of time in their attempts to achieve comprehension of the undivided deity of supremacy. Such comprehension involves a grasp of the existential sovereignty of the Trinity of supremacy, so coordinated with the concept of the growing experiential sovereignty of the Supreme Being as to constitute the creature grasp of the unity of supremacy. Creature realization of these three factors equals having a comprehension of Trinity reality and endows the pilgrims of time with the ability eventually to penetrate the Trinity, to discover the three infinite persons of deity. The inability of the Havana pilgrims fully to find God the Supreme is compensated by the seventh Master Spirit, whose triune nature in such a peculiar manner is revelatory of the spirit person of the Supreme. During the present universe age of the non-contactability of the person of the Supreme, Master Spirit number 7 functions in the place of the God of ascendant creatures in the matter of personal relationships. He is the one high spirit being that all ascenders are certain to recognize and somewhat comprehend when they reach the centers of glory. This Master Spirit is always in liaison with the reflective spirits of Urantia, the headquarters of the seventh super-universe, our own segment of creation. His administration of Urantia discloses the marvelous symmetry of the coordinate blending of the divine natures of Father, Son, and Spirit. Attributes and functions of the Master Spirits. The 7 Master Spirits are the full representation of the infinite spirit to the evolutionary universes. They represent the third source and center in the relationships of energy, mind, and spirit. While they function as the coordinating heads of the universal administrative control of the CONJ ointment actor, do not forget that they have their origin in the creative acts of the Paradise deities. It is literally true that these 7 spirits are the personalized physical power, cosmic mind, and spiritual presence of the triune deity, the 7 spirits of God sent forth to all the universe. The Master Spirits are unique in that they function on all universe levels of reality excepting the Absolute. They are, therefore, efficient and perfect supervisors of all phases of administrative affairs on all levels of super-universe activities. It is difficult for the mortal mind to understand very much about the Master Spirits because their work is so highly specialized yet all-embracing, so exceptionally material and at the same time so exquisitely spiritual. These versatile creators of the cosmic mind are the ancestors of the universe power directors and are, themselves, supreme directors of the vast and far-flung spirit creature creation. The 7 Master Spirits are the creators of the universe power directors and their associates, entities who are indispensable to the organization, control, and regulation of the physical energies of the grand universe. And these same Master Spirits very materially assist the Creator Sons in the work of shaping and organizing the local universes. We are unable to trace any personal connection between the cosmic energy work of the Master Spirits and the force functions of the unqualified Absolute. The energy manifestations under the jurisdiction of the Master Spirits are all directed from the periphery of Paradise. They do not appear to be in any direct manner associated with the force phenomena identified with the nether surface of Paradise. Unquestionably, when we encounter the functional activities of the various Urantia power supervisors, we are face to face with certain of the unrevealed activities of the master spirits, who, aside from these ancestors of both physical controllers and spirit ministers, could have contrived so to combine and associate material and spiritual energies as to produce a hitherto non-existent phase of universe reality. Urantia substance and Urantia mind. Much of the reality of the spiritual worlds is of the Urantia order, a phase of universe reality wholly unknown on Urantia. The goal of personality existence is spiritual, but the Urantia creations always intervene, bridging the gulf between the material realms of mortal origin and the super-universe spheres of advancing spiritual status. It is in this realm that the master spirits make their great contribution to the plan of man's paradise ascension. The 7 master spirits have personal representatives who function throughout the grand universe, but since a large majority of these subordinate beings are not directly concerned with the ascendant scheme of mortal progression in the path of paradise perfection, little or nothing has been revealed about them. Much, very much, of the activity of the 7 master spirits remains hidden from human understanding because in no way does it directly pertain to your problem of paradise ascent. It is highly probable, though we cannot offer definite proof, that the master spirit of Orvantan exerts a decided influence in the following spheres of activity. 1. The life initiation procedures of the local universe life carriers. 2. The life activations of the adjutant mind spirits bestowed upon the worlds by a local universe creative spirit. 3. The fluctuations in energy manifestations exhibited by the linear gravity-responding units of organized matter. 4. The behavior of emergent energy when fully liberated from the grasp of the unqualified absolute, thus becoming responsive to the direct influence of linear gravity and to the manipulations of the universe power directors and their associates. 5. The bestowal of the ministry spirit of a local universe creative spirit, known on Urantia as the Holy Spirit. 6. The subsequent bestowal of the spirit of the bestowal sons, on Urantia called the Comforter or the Spirit of Truth. 7. The reflectivity mechanism of the local universes and the super-universe. Many features connected with this extraordinary phenomenon can hardly be reasonably explained or rationally understood without postulating the activity of the master spirits in association with the conjointment actor and the Supreme Being. Notwithstanding our failure adequately to comprehend the manifold workings of the 7 master spirits, we are confident there are 2 realms in the vast range of universe activities with which they have nothing whatever to do, the bestowal and ministry of the thought adjusters and the inscrutable functions of the unqualified absolute. Relation to creatures. Each segment of the grand universe, each individual universe and world, enjoys the benefits of the united counsel and wisdom of all 7 master spirits but receives the personal touch and tinge of only one. And the personal nature of each master spirit entirely pervades and uniquely conditions his super-universe. Through this personal influence of the 7 master spirits, every creature of every order of intelligent beings, outside of para indicative of the ancestral nature of some one of these 7 paradise spirits. As concerns the 7 super-universes, each native creature, man, or angel, will forever bear this badge of natal identification. The 7 master spirits do not directly invade the material minds of the individual creatures on the evolutionary worlds of space. The mortals of Urantia do not experience the personal presence of the mind-spirit influence of the master spirit of Orvantan. If this master spirit does attain any sort of contact with the individual mortal mind during the earlier evolutionary ages of an inhabited world, it must occur through the ministry of the local universe creative spirit, the consort and associate of the Creator Son of God, who presides over the destinies of each local creation. But this very creative mother spirit is, in nature and character, quite like the master spirit of Orvantan. The physical stamp of a master spirit is a part of man's material origin. The entire Urantia career is lived under the continuing influence of this same master spirit. It is hardly strange that the subsequent spirit career of such an ascending mortal never fully eradicates the characteristic stamp of this same supervising spirit. The impress of a master spirit is basic to the very existence of every pre-Havana stage of mortal ascension. The distinctive personality trends exhibited in the life experience of evolutionary mortals, which are characteristic in each super-universe, and which are directly expressive of the nature of the dominating master spirit, are never fully effaced, not even after such ascenders are subjected to the long training and unifying discipline encountered on the 1 billion educational spheres of Havana. Even the subsequent intense paradise culture does not suffice to eradicate the earmarks of super-universe origin. Throughout all eternity an ascendant mortal will exhibit traits indicative of the presiding spirit of his super-universe of nativity. Even in the core of the finality, when it is desired to arrive at or to portray a complete trinity relationship to the evolutionary creation, always a group of 7 phenol leaders is assembled, one from each super-universe. The cosmic mind. The master spirits are the sevenfold source of the cosmic mind, the intellectual potential of the grand universe. This cosmic mind is a sub-absolute manifestation of the mind of the third source and center and, in certain ways, is functionally related to the mind of the evolving Supreme Being. On a world like Urantia we do not encounter the direct influence of the 7 master spirits in the affairs of the human races. You live under the immediate influence of the creative spirit of Nebadon. Nevertheless, these same master spirits dominate the basic reactions of all creature mind because they are the actual sources of the intellectual and spiritual potentials which have been specialized in the local universes for function in the lives of those individuals who inhabit the evolutionary worlds of time and space. The fact of the cosmic mind explains the kinship of various types of human and superhuman minds. Not only are kindred spirits attracted to each other, but kindred minds are also very fraternal and inclined towards cooperation the one with the other. Human minds are sometimes observed to be running in channels of astonishing similarity and inexplicable agreement. There exists in all personality associations of the cosmic mind a quality which might be denominated the reality response. It is this universal cosmic endowment of will creatures which saves them from becoming helpless victims of the implied a priori assumptions of science, philosophy, and religion. This reality sensitivity of the cosmic mind responds to certain phases of reality just as energy material responds to gravity. It would be still more correct to say that these supermaterial realities so respond to the mind of the cosmos. The cosmic mind unfailingly recognizes response on 3 levels of universe reality. These responses are self-evident to clear reasoning and deep thinking minds. These levels of reality are: 1. Causation, the reality domain of the physical senses, the scientific realms of logical uniformity, the differentiation of the factual and the non-factual, reflective conclusions. Based on cosmic response. This is the mathematical form of the cosmic discrimination. 2. Duty, the reality domain of morals in the philosophic realm, the arena of reason, the recognition of relative right and wrong. This is the judicial form of the cosmic discrimination. 3. Worship, the spiritual domain of the reality of religious experience, the personal realization of divine fellowship, the recognition of spirit values, the assurance of eternal survival, the ascent from the status of servants of God to the joy and liberty of the sons of God. This is the highest insight of the cosmic mind, the reverential and worshipful form of the cosmic discrimination. These scientific, moral, and spiritual insights, these cosmic responses, are innate in the cosmic mind, which endows all will creatures. The experience of living never fails to develop these three cosmic intuitions. They are constitutive in the self-consciousness of reflective thinking. But it is sad to record that so few persons on Urantia take delight in cultivating these qualities of courageous and independent cosmic thinking. 1. In the local universe mind bestowals, these three insights of the cosmic mind constitute the a priori assumptions which make it possible for man to function as a rational and self-conscious personality in the realms of science, philosophy, and religion. Stated otherwise, the recognition of the reality of these three manifestations of the infinite is by a cosmic technique of self-revelation. Matter-energy is recognized. By the mathematical logic of the senses, mind-reason intuitively knows its moral duty. Spirit faith worship is the religion of the reality of spiritual experience. These three basic factors in reflective thinking may be unified and coordinated in personality development, or they may become disproportionate and virtually unrelated in their respective functions. But when they become unified, they produce a strong character consisting in the correlation of a factual science, a moral philosophy, and a genuine religious experience. And it is these three cosmic intuitions that give objective validity, reality, to man's experience in and with things, meanings, and values. It is the purpose of education to develop and sharpen these innate endowments of the human mind, of civilization to express them, of life experience to realize them, of religion to ennoble them, and of personality to unify them. Morals, virtue, and personality. Intelligence alone cannot explain the moral nature. Morality, virtue, is indigenous to human personality. Moral intuition, the realization of duty, is a component of human mind endowment and is associated with the other inalienables of human nature, scientific curiosity and spiritual insight. Man's mentality far transcends that of his animal cousins, but it is his moral and religious natures that especially distinguish him from the animal world. The selective response of an animal is limited to the motor level of behavior. The supposed insight of the higher animals is on a motor level and usually appears only after the experience of motor trial and error. Man is able to exercise scientific, moral, and spiritual insight prior to all exploration or experimentation. Only a personality can know what it is doing before it does it. Only personalities possess insight in advance of experience. A personality can look before it leaps and can therefore learn from looking as well as from leaping. A non-personal animal ordinarily learns only by leaping. As a result of experience, an animal becomes able to examine the different ways of attaining a goal and to select an approach based on accumulated experience. But a personality can also examine the goal itself and pass judgment on its worthwhileness, its value. Intelligence alone can discriminate as to the best means of attaining indiscriminate ends, but a moral being possesses an insight which enables him to discriminate between ends as well as between means. And a moral being in choosing virtue is nonetheless intelligent. He knows what he is doing, why he is doing it, where he is going, and how he will get there. When man fails to discriminate the ends of his mortal striving, he finds himself functioning on the animal level of existence. He has failed to avail himself of the superior advantages of that material acumen, moral discrimination, and spiritual insight which are an integral part of his cosmic mind endowment as a personal being. Virtue is righteousness conformity with the cosmos. To name virtues is not to define them, but to live them is to know them. Virtue is not mere knowledge nor yet wisdom, but rather the reality of progressive experience in the attainment of ascending levels of cosmic achievement. In the day-to-day life of mortal man, virtue is realized by the consistent choosing of good rather than evil, and such choosing ability is evidence of the possession of a moral nature. Man's choosing between good and evil is influenced, not only by the keenness of his moral nature, but also by such influences as ignorance, immaturity, and delusion. A sense of proportion is also concerned in the exercise of virtue, because evil may be perpetrated when the lesser is chosen in the place of the greater as a result of distortion or deception. The art of relative estimation or comparative measurement enters into the practice of the virtues of the moral realm. Man's moral nature would be impotent without the art of measurement, the discrimination embodied in his ability to scrutinize meanings. Likewise would moral choosing be futile without that cosmic insight which yields the consciousness of spiritual values. From the standpoint of intelligence, man ascends to the level of a moral being because he is endowed with personality. Morality can never be advanced by law or by force. It is a personal and free will matter and must be disseminated by the contagion of the contact of morally fragrant persons with those who are less morally responsive, but who are also in some measure desirous of doing the Father's will. Moral acts are those human performances which are characterized by the highest intelligence, directed by selective discrimination in the choice of superior ends as well as in the selection of moral means to attain these ends. Such conduct is virtuous. Supreme virtue, then, is wholeheartedly to choose to do the will of the Father in heaven. Urantia personality. The Universal Father bestows personality upon numerous orders of beings as they function on diverse levels of universe actuality. Urantia human beings are endowed with personality of the finite mortal type, functioning on the level of the ascending sons of God. Though we can hardly undertake to define personality, we may attempt to narrate our understanding of the known factors which go to make up the ensemble of material, mental, and spiritual energies whose interassociation constitutes the mechanism wherein and whereon and wherewith the Universal Father causes his bestowed personality to function. Personality is a unique endowment of original nature whose existence is independent of, and antecedent to, the bestowal of the thought adjuster. Nevertheless, the presence of the adjuster does augment the qualitative manifestation of personality. Thought adjusters, when they come forth from the Father, are identical in nature, but personality is diverse, original, and exclusive, and the manifestation of personality is further conditioned and qualified by the nature and qualities of the associated energies of a material, mindal, and spiritual nature, which constitute the organismal vehicle for personality manifestation. Personalities may be similar, but they are never the same. Persons of a given series, type, order, or pattern may and do resemble one another, but they are never identical. Personality is that feature of an individual which we know, and which enables us to identify such a being at some future time regardless of the nature and extent of changes in form, mind, or spirit status. Personality is that part of any individual which enables us to recognize and positively identify that person as the one we have previously known, no matter how much he may have changed because of the modification of the vehicle of expression and manifestation of his personality. Creature personality is distinguished by two self-manifesting and characteristic phenomena of mortal reactive behavior: self-consciousness and associated relative free will. Self-consciousness consists in intellectual awareness of personality actuality. It includes the ability to recognize the reality of other personalities. It indicates capacity for individualized experience in and with cosmic realities, equivalating to the attainment of identity status in the personality relationships of the universe. Self-consciousness connotes recognition of the actuality of mind ministration and the realization of relative independence of creative and determinative free will. The relative free will which characterizes the self-consciousness of human personality is involved in 1. Moral decision, highest wisdom. 2. Spiritual choice, truth discernment. 3. Unselfish love, brotherhood service. 4. Purposeful cooperation, group loyalty. 5. Cosmic insight, the grasp of universe meanings. 6. Personality dedication, wholehearted devotion to doing the Father's will. 7. Worship, the sincere pursuit of divine values and the wholehearted love of the divine value giver. The Urantia type of human personality may be viewed as functioning in a physical mechanism consisting of the planetary modification of the Nebadon type of organism belonging to the electrochemical order of life activation and endowed with the Nebadon order of the Orvanton series of the cosmic mind of parental reproductive pattern. The bestowal of the divine gift of personality upon such a mind-endowed mortal mechanism confers the dignity of cosmic citizenship and enables such a mortal creature forthwith to become reactive to the constitutive recognition of the three basic mind realities of the cosmos. 1. The mathematical or logical recognition of the uniformity of physical causation. 3. The faith grasp of the fellowship worship of deity, associated with the loving service of humanity. The full function of such a personality endowment is the beginning realization of deity kinship. Such a selfhood, indwelt by a prepersonal fragment of God the Father, is in truth and in fact a spiritual Son of God. Such a creature not only discloses capacity for the reception of the gift of the divine presence but also exhibits reactive response to the personality gravity circuit of the Paradise Father of all personalities. Reality of human consciousness. The cosmic mind endowed, adjuster indwelt, personal creature possesses innate recognition realization of energy reality, mind reality, and spirit reality. The will creature is thus equipped to discern the fact, the law, and the love of God. Aside from these three inalienables of human consciousness, all human experience is really subjective except that intuitive realization of validity attaches to the unification of these three universe reality responses of cosmic recognition. The God-discerning mortal is able to sense the unification value of these three cosmic qualities in the evolution of the surviving soul, man's supreme undertaking in the physical tabernacle where the moral mind collaborates with the indwelling divine spirit to dualize the immortal soul. From its earliest inception the soul is real, it has cosmic survival qualities. If mortal man fails to survive natural death, the real spiritual values of his human experience survive as a part of the continuing experience of the thought adjuster. The personality values of such a non-survivor persist as a factor in the personality of the actualizing Supreme Being. Such persisting qualities of personality are deprived of identity but not of experiential values accumulated during the mortal life in the flesh. The survival of identity is dependent on the survival of the immortal soul of Urantia status and increasingly divine value. Personality identity survives in and by the survival of the soul. Human self-consciousness implies the recognition of the reality of selves other than the conscious self and further implies that such awareness is mutual, that the self is known as it knows. This is shown in a purely human manner in man's social life. But you cannot become so absolutely certain of a fellow being's reality as you can of the reality of the presence of God that lives within you. The social consciousness is not inalienable like the God consciousness, it is a cultural development and is dependent on knowledge, symbols, and the contributions of the constitutive endowments of man's science, morality, and religion. And these cosmic gifts, socialized, constitute civilization. Civilizations are unstable because they are not cosmic, they are not innate in the individuals of the races. They must be nurtured by the combined contributions of the constitutive factors of man's science, morality, and religion. Civilizations come and go, but science, morality, and religion always survive the crash. Jesus not only revealed God to man, but he also made a new revelation of man to himself and to other men. In the life of Jesus you see man at his best. Man thus becomes so beautifully real because Jesus had so much of God in his life, and the recognition of God is inalienable and constitutive in all men. Unselfishness, aside from parental instinct, is not altogether natural. Other persons are not naturally loved or socially served. It requires the enlightenment of reason, morality, and the urge of religion, God-knowingness, to generate an unselfish and altruistic social order. Man's own personality awareness, self-consciousness, is also directly dependent on this very fact of innate other awareness, this innate ability to recognize and grasp the reality of other personality, ranging from the human to the divine. Unselfish social consciousness must be, at bottom, a religious consciousness, that is, if it is objective, otherwise it is a purely subjective philosophic abstraction and therefore devoid of love. Only a God-knowing individual can love another person as he loves himself. Self-consciousness is in essence a communal consciousness, God and man, Father and Son, Creator and creature. In human self-consciousness 4 universe reality realizations are latent and inherent. 1. The quest for knowledge, the logic of science. 2. The quest for moral values, the sense of duty. 3. The quest for spiritual values, the religious experience. 4. The quest for personality values, the ability to recognize the reality of God as a personality and the concurrent realization of our fraternal relationship with fellow personalities. You become conscious of man as your creature brother because you are already conscious of God as your creator father. Fatherhood is the relationship out of which we reason ourselves into the recognition of brotherhood. And fatherhood becomes, or may become, a universe reality to all moral creatures because the Father has himself bestowed personality upon all such beings and has encircuited them within the grasp of the universal personality circuit. We worship God, first, because He is, then, because He is in us, and last, because we are in Him. Is it strange that the cosmic mind should be self-consciously aware of its own source, the infinite mind of the infinite spirit, and at the same time conscious of the physical reality of the far-flung universes, the spiritual reality of the eternal Son, and the personality reality of the universal Father? Sponsored by a universal censor from Diversey.
Remember to smash the likes and subscribe buttons, and please spread the love and share the love.